My dear friends, tonight's subject, Nick Fuentes versus Tucker Carlson, fascinates me on so many levels. So many levels I can't even begin to explicate, to limn, to describe to and for you why I am so incredibly fascinated by this subject. And it's not why you think. I'm normally not, I don't want to get to this, what's her name? Maggie or Maureen or Callahan or something, kind of like this sniping bit. It's not my thing. There's something else which I find fascinating, something else which I find of interest. There's something which I would like to bring to your attention, which I find worthy of mentioning this heretofore. And let's see if we can perhaps do it. Let's see if we can put this into words. Let's see if I can figure out a way to make this make sense to you. You know, one of the things which people love to do, is to pretend that we are able to differentiate who is legitimate and who is not. It's one of those things that we love to do. You know, who's a legitimate, who's a real MAGA type, and who isn't. Who's legit and who's not. Who are the people that stand for us and who isn't? Who are these people? Well, it's interesting. Let us, if I could, begin to have me describe to you this wonderful story, this story of Mr. Nick Fuentes, and why he's become quite the figure, and why he's become popular, and why people are paying attention, and why this is of particular note. Nick Fuentes has become the figure that polite packaged conservatism pretends doesn't exist, yet it fears with a very real intensity. You see, for years, the America First movement has been co-opted and watered down and made palatable by a parade of media-approved mavericks whose idea of dissent is limited to what their advisors and benefactors and sponsors will tolerate. Think Charlie Kirk, okay? Think Candace Owens. Think these folks. These so-called firebrands, the ones who fill primetime streaming platforms, are as predictable as the day is long, my friend. And they are, as I mentioned, made palatable by a parade of media-approved, mavericks and firebrands and those who are able to provide a level of dissent, but limited, not the real thing, not as far and as deep as you want, but to what their focus says. Like the Barry Weisses. Can you believe that? $250 million. Come on. If you can't see through this, I can't help you. I can't help you, okay? But what most people do in our particular world, they like people based upon who, they just like personalities. I like Candy. We don't care about what they say. A lot of folks just like the way they look or the way they act, or not really what they say, because they don't really follow what they say. You see, because they're basically limited by what they are able to be tolerated. Now, these so-called folks, these firebrands, the revolutionaries and the like, these are the ones who fill the usual time slots, the primetime cable slots, and appear on the really high-tech, glossy kind of streaming platforms. They deliver the same lines, the same stuff, the same usual stuff that make the grassroots feel heard, but always within the framework of carefully crafted, carefully designed, never to truly threaten the system. Never. They'll tease it. They'll get close to the line, but not really. Now, Tucker Carlson is the textbook example of what amounts to this controlled opposition. And if you can't see through this, you're not paying attention. The persona, I've told you this a million times. I'm so glad that he stepped away. He's done some good stuff, but his persona is built on the notion that he's speaking truth to power. that he's this kid, this kind of rich kid who's skewering the political establishment, from the right, really going after them, and for the first time challenging and attacking head on, sacred cows and established ways of thinking on foreign policy and cultural decay and the real stuff. But beneath what used to be the bow tie, but it's still there. By the way, some people can wear a bow tie, some people can't. And to some people, it look like little Lord Fauntleroy, and others are trying. He's trying very much to say, no, I am the rough and tumble. Don't let my laugh fool you. Don't let my effete ways, my trust fund countenance fool you. I'm an outdoorsman. All right, you got the routine. But beneath this particular countenance and this visage, and the man of the people act, beneath all that lies a pedigree and a set of connections that tell an entirely different story. And one that he either remembers or doesn't remember, brings up and then forgets. One that's rooted in very, very, very establishment frameworks. The pink shorts and the shoes, the loafers without the socks. The very establishment he claims to be fighting. I mean, he is so prototypical. He can't get away from it. You can put all the goose down vests on you on, doesn't matter. Now, his daddy, Tucker's daddy, Dick Carlson, wasn't just some minor media figure. We knew this from the beginning. He was the director, the director of Voice of America, like Carrie Lake is. That is a CIA, that is an intel, that is a spook front, not even a front. It's a United States government funded international broadcaster that spews, belches, burps, and farts propaganda. It's a broadcaster that has long served as a propaganda arm working for American intel, American foreign policy. The CIA's fingerprints, its signature, are all over VOA's historic and absolute known mission from Cold War psyops, where it was initially known for, to shaping a variety of narratives. And you know this. Shaping narratives abroad. You know this. You especially. You're a part of the conspiratorium. And that kind of career, that kind of focus, that job description, doesn't happen by accident. You don't just walk into it because you were a newspaper man. It's a high trust position. And it's a high trust position within the architecture of the national security apparatus and the national security state and the deep state. And and it goes up, and everybody knows it. You don't have to wait until he does. Get to that moment. And it's the environment in which Tucker grew up. He knew it. D.C., he and his brother Buckley or whatever. Stop it. The same Tucker who now markets himself as the enemy of the deep state, the guy who is the one who's breaking through. This guy was absolutely groomed in a household deeply, deeply steeped and embedded and almost concretized in the whole deep state psyop spook stuff. His own aborted attempt to join the CIA, this is not my favorite, reinforces the irony. And he dropped that. He wants you to know that, like, well, I tried, but they wouldn't let me in. Rejected for reasons reportedly tied to past drug use or whatever. I don't know. Stop it. He pivoted to media, see, where he could still serve the apparatus, still serve the deep state, still serve intel as a kind of a bridge between establishment narratives and the restless right wing. Okay, so understand where this thing goes. I mean, listen, this is great. Now enter Nick Fuentes. I like this character. You know why? They said he was a racist, an anti-Semite. I want to hear him. Why? Because they must be saying something right if they're coming at him that hard, and everybody canceled him. Checking accounts and PayPal. I mean, he couldn't go on Airbnb, nothing. It was beautiful. Nick Fuentes has no pedigree like that, even remotely like that. no similar or similar institutional insulation, no full fallback position. He isn't invited into think tank dinners. He isn't booked on network Sunday shows to represent dissent in a safe kind of sanitized format. Remember, once a spook, always a spook. He's not being courted by billionaire owners to push the envelope, just enough to give their platforms kind of an anti-establishment kind of a sheen, to burnish them as kind of like, look, see, he's legit. He's got cred. We're not what you think we are, even though we are. He doesn't have that camouflage while never risking advertiser comfort. No. Fuentes operates completely outside of that, I hate to use that word, ecosystem. And that is precisely why his voice carries a different kind of authenticity to it. And they hate it. They hate him more than anybody. See, Tucker gets away. No problem. Tucker's not banned. Tucker's no problem. Tucker was fired from Fox for reasons that, Fuentes says they came after him, full bore. Why? See, it falls, it's like that Alex Jones thing. Must really hate this guy. And the only way you really hate this guy is if he's saying something. Now, I'm not ever endorsing anybody's position. Let me get that clear. I'm just saying, I'm looking at him and why all of a sudden is he changing the way he's, and by the way, he's softening his affect. Now, this is a guy who was not bound by the unwritten rules of controlled opposition. That's kind of why they hate him too. He doesn't modulate his tone, doesn't shift his rhetoric to stay within an invisible fence. He doesn't do that. Oh, no. See, that freedom is the currency of real dissidents. And real dissidents are scary people. And they say some crazy stuff sometimes. That's why they're dissidents. Do you ever have a dissident where you say, does Rand Paul come across as dissident? Ron Paul? Bernie Sanders? Who is a dissident? Noam Chomsky? Maybe. Alex Jones? Most definitely. Tucker Carlson? Not even close. Not even close. 1 minute he's talking about the fact that he stopped drinking. And then the demons pulled him out of bed and was scratched. The demons? And he's a Christian. And then he's this. He's everything. He doesn't know what he wants to be. Nick Fuentes says, this guy's got cojones like you can't believe. And by the way, it's the reason why people who have been lied to and ignored, look what I'm pointing to, and smeared by both the left and the mainstream right, it's why they gravitate toward Fuentes, because he's dangerous. And there's something that people like about dangerous. Again, I'm not asking you to endorse what I'm saying. Just watch the rock star. It's like the old days when the Beatles seemed nice and the Rolling Stones were scary and the Animals were considered ugly. Remember that? Many of us liked the Animals and Eric Burden because they looked horrible. He says what the establishment's pet rebels cannot say. He says stuff that so many people believe. That's why he's so unpopular. He names names. He goes after sacred cows without the wink and the nod qualifiers. This is a guy who was absolutely out of control. He doesn't hedge his criticism. He doesn't hedge it to maintain an invitation back to the table. Tucker's never going to walk away from his pedigree. He's never going to walk away from his group. Never going to walk away from all his buddies who understand what he's doing. Kind of give him a wink like, good for you. You're the dissident. You think he's away? You think he's pulled away? Name one thing. He's like the limited hangout. What has he ever said about JFK or Africa? Anything. Nothing. He gives you the impression he's a classic limited hangout. And unlike Tucker Carlson, who can pivot, again, into these new kind of well-funded ventures every time he falls out with a network, because remember, he's doing quite well, and that was interesting. Fuentes pays a real price for his stances. He was deplatformed. Banned from payment processors. What? Smeared in the press. Erased from polite political discourse. The pariah. He was radioactive. And that kind of cost is the surest sign of a threat to the status quo. And that's why he's catching on like gangbusters. He's going, he's like AI. Remember when Mearsheimer came along? I remember the first time I saw Mearsheimer. It was the damnedest thing. Next thing you know, everybody's watching. Colonel McGregor, Jeffrey Sachs, go down the list. Take Judge Napolitano. He's enjoying his status now. This guy he is real dangerous, but he's respected, and the respect outweighs the danger. Tucker Carlson knows what's going on here. For all his reach and all his polish and all this stuff, he understands that somebody like Nick Fuentes undermines the premise of his own brand, his own countenance, that he's the most dangerous man in American media. No way. You've just been supplanted. The uncomfortable truth for our good friend Tucker, who does a lot of good stuff, don't get me wrong, is that Nick Fuentes, without the corporate stagecraft and the elite scaffolding and all this stuff, connects more directly to the raw nerve of the America First base than Tucker ever could. He has been absolutely steadfast. America First. How many of you have felt left out and abandoned by America First? How many? And MAGA, whatever MAGA means. How many of you have felt completely left out of this? Seriously, think about it. You can't even believe it. That's Nick Fuentes' middle name. Tucker's audience trusts him to a point, but they also sense the invisible hand, to use the Adam Smith, the invisible hand that shapes what he can and can't say. Let me say, once burned, twice shy. See, Nick Fuentes doesn't have that hand on his shoulder, which is precisely why his appeal is growing. See, they should have just created him, treated Nick Fuentes almost like a dampened virus, like a vaccine. That's what he should have done. That's what he should have done. And that's the most important thing people don't understand. That's precisely why his appeal is growing, even under near total suppression. Understand this? Pay attention to this. Now, the recent dust-up between these two was more than a personal feud. He even pulled in that other one, too, who was fighting for her life, and that's Candace Owens, who was, oh, my God. But Carlson's jab at Fuentes, painting him as an angry gay kid or something like that wasn't just petty, it was revealing. It showed irritation, even insecurity, even projection, I don't know about this. Because mocking Fuentes' style is easier than engaging with his substance. See, that's what they do. That's the Megyn Kelly approach. That's what all they do. And let's face it, we all do it. It's fun to go for the low-hanging fruit. It's fun to always talk about what somebody looks like, or, but I do it. We all do it. It's fun. It's this pettiness, which we swear we want to get away from, but we can't, because it's just fun. And the substance here is what Carlson can't address. He can't address without admitting that his own brand of, outsider commentary exists within a safe kind of perimeter. You see, Nick Fuentes, his critique of Tucker is simple, very simple. You can't be both the people's champion and a product of the very institutions that keep the people down. One or the other, either or. You can't rail against the deep state in public while benefiting from the very networks and the very circles that operate in tandem with it. Think about this. And you can't act surprised when all of a sudden, my father was in the CIA. Can you believe Tucker said this? Does he think nobody's paying attention? See, Tucker has perfected the art of making rebellion look respectable. His delivery is smooth. His framing is designed to be, just provocative enough to draw liberal outrage and conservative adoration, without crossing into territory, frankly, that would make him, radioactive to power. He doesn't go too far. This is why he remains employable at high levels, despite supposedly being the system's biggest threat. You see, the Charlie Kirks of the world are scared shitless because they don't offer anything. They play it safe. No hits, no runs, no errors. A guy who I think is out there too, and I don't know why he's been kind of played down, is Dinesh D'Souza. Check out Dinesh. He still is more of the real thing. Watch him. I don't know how this thing goes, like who's in and who's out. But this Charlie Kirk, if you can't see the phony of that, I can't help you. I can't help you. Popular, yeah. Phony like you can't believe. As the day is long. Remember, you don't get to be that big. Look who pays. You know who pays them. Come on. Stop it. Now, the system knows that as long as it's rebels, air quotes for you, as long as it's rebels, stay within the sandbox, within the rules, stay within his lane, they pose no existential danger. In fact, they're actually useful in a utilitarian point of view because they actually serve as pressure valves for populist anger, channeling it or directing it into commentary and outrage that never translates into actual structural change. Name one thing that Tucker's ever said where you said, what? Ain't going to happen. Nick Fuentes, now he's got to remember, he can burn out very, very quickly. He's got to tone this thing down. Believe me, I've got a lot of stylistic not complaints, but some suggestions for him, but he's not listening to me. Fuentes rejects that role outright. He doesn't want to be the official court jester of right-wing populism. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to be tolerated as the token agitator, in a safe kind of ecosystem. His message is simple, that the rot, this fetid rot, runs deeper than most are willing to admit. That America First means dismantling entire structures, entire systems, entire riggings, rather than simply kind of reshuffling the membership. They can't coexist comfortably with the institutions that profit directly from managing dissent. Look, that's why he's been made into a political exile. He scares people. Do you think they exiled him? They sent him to kind of a platform Elba because he's rude? Come on. He poses a threat to not only the eyes of mainstream media, but also its power structures. And that's exactly why his influence is dangerous to people. And that's why people like Carlson are really freaked out, because he sees him as a threat. Tucker sees him as absolutely authentic. Right or wrong, he may be completely full of shit, but he's legit. Carlson couldn't do that on his day. Carlson can't even get his story straight. His father was in the CIA, then I wasn't. Didn't find out until he died. Are you drinking again? Do you forget you said this? Tucker Carlson, remember, he knows his place in the hierarchy. It depends specifically on being the endpoint of audience frustration. He's it. We will only object as far as Tucker will go. We don't go any further. And the rise of Nick Fuentes isn't about whether you agree with every word he says. Oh, God, no. That's not the point at all. Same way with Alex Jones, who was still the granddaddy of them all. It's about the fact that he's become a voice of the unfiltered, the unapologetic, the guy who spews grievances of a segment of America that has been told over and over again to shut up and vote for the lesser evil. Because remember, the lesser of two evils is still evil. He has refused to sign on to the endless wars, cultural surrender. He has said things that he said, I think America should be white or European and Christian. Now, God damn it, that's his opinion. And he's able to say it. I don't know if I would say that. I don't know if I would necessarily think this. I don't know if I want white European Christian. That's not necessarily my idea of the gold standard. I like more things like intelligent, educated, classy, civilized, things like that. Religion means nothing to me. I don't understand what religion is. But that's his opinion. And as I'm saying, God damn it, that's his opinion. You see, he's tired of this cultural surrender. And the bipartisan economic sellout, that has gutted the middle and working classes, he hates that. And you do too. He's taken positions that alienate him from both parties' donor classes. And he hasn't bent under the weight of these focused, coordinated attacks. Let me tell you something. I don't know how to tell you this. Tucker Carlson doesn't want to hang around us. Tucker Carlson has said a million times, he's a blue blood guy with pink pants and nautical belts, and he wears loafers and topsiders on the deck when he's at Nantucket with Buckley. He is as Mr. Howell as you can be, which is fine, no problem. Trump isn't like that. He's still, Jamaica States, but he's also still a little gaudy, but he is closer to us. But even he doesn't want us. Don't kid yourself. They don't want us. We don't fit into these people. Don't ever think they're our friends. They're not. Fuentes might be. He might be able to handle himself. This guy is super. He's 26 years old. He's as old as he is whip smart, okay? And he's been under the attack of coordinated attack so much that anybody who takes shit from people, I always admire them. Not want to mimic them, but the fact that they're able to take it. That resilience is a currency that Tucker Carlson can't counterfeit. No matter how many monologues he delivers, no matter how many things he says, no matter how many speeches about corruption in Washington, and I know he actually says this with a straight face. I was raised in Washington. I know. He made this thing the other day. He was talking about how he went in Washington and he had breakfast at this, I don't know what it was, some private club or something. Is he trying to endear himself to us? It was something. I had breakfast by myself at wherever the club was. I have no idea. I don't. That's not my thing. This is why Carlson swipes at Nick Fuentes, lands so flat, and you know it. They read as jealousy disguised as banter, because Tucker Carlson knows that if he had to operate under Nick Fuentes' condition, okay, stripped of corporate backing and locked out of mainstream distribution and hunted by the press, let me tell you something. He wouldn't have the same impact. No way. His reach is a function of his platform. And his platform exists because powerful people allow it to exist. Nicky's not the same. His reach exists in spite of powerful people trying to erase it. But something very interesting happens. When you try to crush people in our business, in our world, it blossoms. Their power, their popularity explodes. Let me tell you something. It's a very, very serious thing. You have to understand this. His reach exists in spite of the elite trying to erase it. Now, did you hear when he was on the other day with Candace Owens? Watch her face. She didn't know where to go with it. She's thinking, what are we talking about? Candace Owens. Remember her with Kanye West? It's another one. Oh, I like Kanye. You like Candace Owens because you like bar brawlers. You like people in bar fights who take a chair and break it over somebody's head. That's not a fight. That's not boxing. That's not pugilism. That's a riot. But you like that, and I understand it. You see, it's a difference. It's a difference that matters as the political grounding shifts. You see, the America First movement, which I thought we were part of, I thought that was MAGA. Maybe stupid me. It isn't looking for commentary that makes you feel rebellious, while keeping you within acceptable political boundaries. It doesn't work that way. See, they're looking for leadership. The America First group wants leadership that actually wants to win the cultural and political war, and not just narrate it, not just be a part of it. Not, let's say Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, they knew was a phony the moment he said, do we have to talk about all these emails? They bought him off. That's when he lost his crew. He lost it. And for all of Tucker's talent, and it is immense, do not think for a moment it is not, but out of all of his talent, he's a narrator. Fuentes, for better or worse, positions himself as a combatant, as a fighter. He's Mike Tyson versus being Howard Cosell. You see, that's why I keep saying that's why his ascendancy can't be overlooked. No matter how much the establishment and the media darlings and the usual suspects would like to pretend he's irrelevant, he is anything but. This is huge. Now, my friends, in the end, the question, for you to understand, the question isn't whether Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes is more polished, the broadcaster or the media personality. It's who's willing to risk more to tell the truth as they see it. Don't you always tell me how much you love the truth? Isn't that what you're saying? Who is braver? Who? Tucker for basically being forced out of that New York or that Fox News gig, which he knew he could never be. That was a stepping stone. He knew he could. You can't be a pioneer thinker. I mean, sure, you get paid off. You end up being a Jesse Waters. So what? But down the line, you end up like a Fredo Cuomo, a company man, a corporate man, a shill. No hits, no runs, no errors. Liquidated, dilute, anodyne. See, Tucker's career, remember this, Tucker's career has been a masterclass, absolutely, in working the edges, without losing, I guess, your seat at the table, to not really, not impact too much. Nick has flipped the table like a Teresa Giudice. He flipped it. And he dared anyone to invite him back. Come on. And they didn't. And that difference, the one between being a safe rebel and a real one, that's exactly why Tucker jabs at Fuentes. And that's why his attacks feel less like, confident put downs and more like defensive, flinches and reactions from somebody who knows he's looking at the authentic version of what he spent his career pretending to be and trying to convince you that he's that way. See, this is the thing. Now, remember this. I want you to pull away from your likes and dislikes. This is not a popularity contest. This is not about somebody that you like. Not somebody you like the way they look or they act or whatever it is. That's not it. Remember what I've been telling you for the longest time. The first authentic hero, bar none, political truth, whatever you want to call it, is Alex Jones, without a doubt. Period. End of discussion. Through thick and thin, before it was even cool, he's it. And he has withstood and fought like nobody else. And that's what we like. Can you say that's true of Tucker Carlson? Name the sacrifices. What has Tucker gone through? What? All of his trust funds, remember that one? Oh, don't feel sorry for me. Oh, I'm a blue blood. He just talks and talks and talks and forgets what he says. He forgets. And he said some things, but he doesn't really, believe it or not, and I can't believe I'm saying this, who's very, very, since we're doing critiques, gratuitously doing critiques, who's very legitimate? Theo Vaughn. Absolutely. He is almost like childlike, impish, like a little boy. But he's very honest. And he's very, very real. I don't get that way with Tucker. If ever you want to see full of shit in action, I mean, really. I mean, this is the stuff where if Tucker, better hope to God they don't keep these around, generations from now. But the guy who is absolutely, watch him with Sean Ryan. Oh my God. And Sean Ryan is also becoming so. Let me explain something to you. This is something that you got to believe me when I tell you this, and you have to just take it for what it's worth. When you start off doing this thing, whatever it is, you've got to be yourself. And you've got to be legitimate, and you've got to be real, and you've got to be, and I need your likes, by the way, ladies and germs. I need your likes. I'm just a regular kind of guy. Nothing fancy, no big studios, no big numbers. I'm a ham and egger, as they say. I'm just a regular old person. That's it. That's who I be. But you know what? And this I will promise you. I will tell you this. I say exactly what I feel. Sometimes to a fault. And sometimes I don't want to talk about what everybody wants to talk about. I'm not interested in that. It's not my thing. I don't care about that. Big Dick says, cheers, Uncle, love you. Lionel Nation, thank you, my friend. It's Big Dick from Chi-Town. When you start off being what you are, it's better to tone down later on than to try to keep the pace up. Nick Fuentes came out at first. I mean, he was just spewing this. Jews, this, black. And it's like, Nick, you might be onto something, but that's not the way to do it. That's not it. But he did it nonetheless, and he came forward. And then now he's on more shows. You notice how nice he is? He's calmer. He said, you a white supremacist? By the way, what is a white supremacist? Is there anybody who believes that white people are supreme to, I guess, non-white people? I don't know. What would that be? Asians, blacks? What's non-white? Latinos, Arabs? What is a white supremacy? What does that mean? I'm serious. I don't even know what the hell it is. I can only be a member of something. I know what it is, but I can't. What is it? I don't know. I don't know what it means. I don't know what the hell it means. What does it mean? White supremacy. What does that mean? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody can figure it out. So they asked Nick Fuentes, are you a white supremacist? He goes, no. He says, I believe that. He believes in race, and he mentioned something like European. Fine. But here's the bottom line. And I want you to listen to me. If you believe that white people are superior, or black people are superior, if you want to live in a country with only Christians or Jews or atheists, I don't give a diddly damn what your opinion is. Just say it. And I'll defend your opinion. I won't agree with it, but I'll defend you, right? That's his opinion. And when somebody does that, even if it's a black dude who says, I think white people, you got to admit, it's far more interesting. You may disagree with it, but it's a different story. Mad Max, ladies and gentlemen, says, I saw Fuentes on the Conservative Twins show. They liked him. I thought he was very good. I'm saying he's very authentic. And he says things about blacks and Jews and non-Christians that I know people believe. Exactly. I know it. And that's why he's scary. If he said something that truly was believed by no one, nobody would give a damn. Nobody would care about it. Nobody. So that's all. That's all I want you to know. Keep in mind that. And understand that in this war for truth, know who the phonies are. Let me tell you something. The best thing you can do to kill, not actually kill, but to destroy Nick Fuentes and his power is let him go. Encourage him. Give him all the money he wants and he'll burn out. Because without that edge, without that danger, without that sense of rebellion, I mean, what he does, it just sounds good, but it's like, okay. He almost is created, he is sharpened by the fact that he is not allowed to say these things. You hear what I'm saying to you? I'm going to say it again. If you want to get rid of Nick Fuentes, give him whatever he wants. Give him all the money he wants, all the power, all the numbers. Then what? It destroys people. Alex didn't do it. Alex is more powerful today because of what he's gone through. Now, he'll tell you, he'll be the first one to tell you, I don't want that power. I wish I didn't have to go through that. My family and I, my bank account would be a hell of a, I'd be like, I don't want to go through all these lawsuits. But he is in the bottom line. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's it. And by virtue of what he's saying is it's not always correct. Remember, correct has nothing to do with it. It's not about being correct. Listen to Tucker Carlson. He's very good at what he does. He's done some very good stuff. But what he does is absolutely nothing at all that is worthwhile. Oh boy, here we go. Singer Barbara Mason is 78. Sam Elliott, 81. Sam Elliott, by the way, is a fraternity brother of mine. Comedian, director David Steinberg, 83. Jazz musician Jack DeJohnette, ooh, great, 83. And Basketball Hall of Famer Bob Cousy, 97. Wow. Thank you, Mr. Rung. Thank you for that. So anyway, that's where we are right now, my friends. Just think about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. What do you think about this? Do you buy this? Does this make sense to you? I'm going to put a section up here with some questions for you to follow. I want to thank you as always. We are becoming we're picking up speed, my friends. I want to thank you for this. I've got little old me. I'm just small potatoes. I'm a ham and egger, my friends. I'm just a ham and egger. But I'm approaching my 300,000. I'm at 298,937. And I need your numbers. I need them. Just at 300. Just sounds like 298, 299. Come on. It's just little old me. It's you and me. You and me against the world. Anyway, that's it, my friends. Have a great and a glorious night. It was a beautiful, 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 beautiful day here in New York City. It was a wonderful time. I appreciate it. It was just lovely. Right now, it's a gorgeous 74 degrees. I love it. Anyway, my friends, thank you so much. Please don't forget to follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. I also ask you for that. Make sure you follow my other, the YouTube channel. This is very interesting. This is this is the YouTube channel. Our Lionel Legal, which I think is very doggone good. Doggone good. I did one today on, this is interesting, a very good one. Will Epstein be, dare I say, will Epstein be, will Diddy be Epstein? And the reason why that would happen. See, that's one of the things. It's very dangerous for him to get away with this. And many people see it as being quite advantageous. I put the link up there for you. Follow that one. Be a part of that. Watch what I have to say about that one. All right, my friends. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you. And make sure you also subscribe to Lionel Nation. Lionel Nation. Lionel Nation. We need, those numbers mean so much because they put us into the HOV lane of success. All right, dear friends. Have a great, a glorious, and a beautiful night. Thank you so much for being a part of us and honoring us with your countenance, with your presence, and with your support. Have a great and a glorious day. See you tomorrow. Don't forget, until then, my friends, remember the monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.